okay, like drinking.
Oh, look at us! I got in there. Yeah.
Which side are you on, this one?
So make sure to
Move it over so
we'll
squeeze.
Here.
That's why I'm like practically on Kelly's lap.
I know.
I know there's plenty of room.
Just like my own space.
She is saying. Oh, that's my girl Rebecca.
Oh, so I don't have to let them in. They just.
You will need to. Yeah, it's gonna make you.
So are we unmuted?
Unless Kelly has it.
I think she said.
Hey everyone that's coming in.
Brianna, could you pin the big screen?
Hi guys.
Hey, welcome to our Vice President.
Oh, are we recording?
Yeah, Vice President.
Vice President question and answers. So if you're joining us now,
You guys are kind of dark.
what are we? We're 1 minute early.
That's okay. We're just like
How many
testing
people?
the lighting.
You guys are really far away from us and we're trying to see you all.
Hi.
Can you just wave to us?
Let us know your name.
Oh, Brianna, watch the chat box. That's something you can do. Open the chat box and watch that and see if there's any questions that come in.
So we'll give it a minute.
Is it recording?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, go to my Facebook page and log into it. She'll go into the page.
We'll get to the meat and potatoes in a minute. Stay with us.
Appetizers.
Hey, why don't we go around the room and
Like
just
a
tell them your name and where you're from?
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
And how long you been on it?
I'm Caitlin Holland. I've been a consultant for 8 years and I'm in Tennessee. I'm Kelly Jashinsky, been a consultant for 6 years and I'm in Nebraska.
I'm Dana Johnston, been a consultant for almost 6 years, and I'm from Greenville, South Carolina.
I'm Lauren Musser, been a consultant about 4.5 years in Pennsylvania.
And I'm Sean Potter, and I've been a consultant for 6.5 years, and I'm from Ohio.
I'm Maria Zimmerman. I have been a consultant for 10 years and I'm from Indiana.
Leah Sweetman from Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm a consultant for 8 years now.
Katie Cormier, I've been a consultant for 9 years as of this month, on the 18th. What was the other question?
She's from Michigan.
Michigan.
Anybody can do this.
Is the chicken a bird?
You know? So I'm Natalie Jenkins Rice. I'm from Tennessee, and I've been a consultant 6 years. And we want to know, how long have you guys been a consultant, and where are you from in the chat section?
And we don't have to approve anyone in, right?
Brianna, tell us who in the chat ends up being the consultant the longest.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys, it's 9:01, so
Go for it.
Meat
Was
and
this gonna be your job?
potatoes.
okay.
If you want me.
I might be able to read that
Okay.
listening ready. Okay, so we took all your questions. So we have how many? 9 people here, and we all asked in our team pages, if you could ask us anything, what would you ask? And so we kind of got everyone's questions and molded them into some questions. So we're not asking like a million questions. So the first question, Lauren gets to answer, and it is, sorry, Kelly.
Me?
We didn't change it. Yeah. So Kelly from Nebraska, you guys wanted to know how long it took us to get to a vice president sales leader level.
Okay, so if you didn't know, everyone in the room is vice president, sales leader, and you heard me kind of range in being a consultant from 4 to 10 years. And on average, it took us about 5.5 years to become a VP. Was that me?
I think someone's at the door. I'm looking at the chat here, so if you don't, I can look at it. Okay.
Somebody's up with.
I don't
Go
know.
ahead.
Go to the door. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So on average, it took us 5.5 years. The fastest was 3 years, right? And the longest was 9 years. So there really isn't there's not anything to compare it to. Everybody's journey is very, very different. And one story that I love to tell my team is our team reached the red jacket level senior executive sales leader in September 2017. And I found not too long ago an old notebook where I had written out all these goals, and it said vice president sales leader by September of 2018. And I had all these steps written out and I had it planned out. And it took me another year and 3 months to actually meet that goal. So set your goals and don't be upset or crushed or give up if you don't hit them in the time that you think it should happen, because it can still happen. You just have to not give up.
Definitely.
Did anybody else want to say anything about the length of time it takes?
I think that we were also talking beforehand about, a promotion looks different for everyone, right? So you may have an upline that really talks about grow motions, like you're growing into your promotion. There's some of us that maintained our levels for a year before we went for it. So you just do what works for you. I have people on my team that have done both, and they're very successful either way. So it looked different for all of us, but it still put us in the same place, right? But we're still able to learn from each other.
Anyone else?
Maria,
Well, I was just gonna say, like, so for me, when you talked about when you got your red jacket, I got mine 5 years ago.
Okay.
And then a year ago, I would have promoted to vice president. So, and I've been with Norwex for 10 years. So it looks different for everybody. I think we're gonna talk a little bit about that more, but yeah, it's interesting to hear how long it takes for each person.
have goals, but don't let your goals define you. If you don't meet a goal, don't be defined by that. Like, just keep striving, keep showing up for yourself. And it's awesome. If anyone has vice president, sales leader on their to-do list, whoop, whoop, that's awesome.
That's
a good way to put it.
So question number 2, a lot of you had questions about how we empower and motivate our teams and how we did all that to encourage and empower and motivate. And I think that was you, Nellie.
Okay, so that again is going to look different for everyone, but I think that something that's important to everyone also is making sure you're leading by example. So one, are you partying? Because your team is really going to follow suit. So if I think all of us here really talked, some of us do a lot of parties, but for the most part, we're all at least doing 8 parties a month. And so that's going to be really important for you to be consistent.
I'm not.
She's also pregnant right now. But you go through seasons, right? So you're going to have peaks and valleys in your businesses. And the perks of being a VP too is that you're still getting that residual income. And so that's a really great part about choosing leadership, is that you're going to get that. But you always really want to go back to making sure you're partying, right? So you're leading by example. Why are you laughing at me? Also, number 2, it's good to create a vision, but remember that your dreams are going to look different than their dreams. So you always want to make sure that you're meeting them with where they're at with their dreams, because their dreams matter too. And so while you may have certain goals and visions, they're going to have theirs as well. So you want to make sure to know what that is and meet them where they're at, and make sure that you are recognizing them for their achievements. But also, we all talked about how new team members also brings excitement to your team. Even for us as leaders, like if I have maybe I'm in a valley of my business, when I bring on a new consultant that's excited, it excites me too.
Yeah.
So those are just some quick tips. If anyone else has tips on getting new people excited.
Well, that's our next question really.
Real quick, before we move to that, Katie, like, what average do you have as parties? What do you normally have as a party average?
I think 4 to 6.
And that's typical, like, not just in pregnancy. And so that's great. That's Katie's business and that's her desire. So you can set a business to fit your family. It doesn't have to be outside of what I love how a lot of us have Amy Taylor, Caitlin and I have Amy Taylor as a Norwex mama. And one of the things that I love that she says is Norwex is the pillow to your pearl. So the things that matter the most are the pearl, and Norwex is supporting that. And so if it's 4 to 6 parties a month or 8 to 10, you get to set that, and this business grows so long as you keep showing up for that goal. Anybody else?
So along with the new consultant, we had someone that asked us, what advice that we would give to a brand new consultant. And Maria, do you want to start? I can finish her.
Oh, yeah, I was like, wait, where are we going with this? So my advice is just don't quit. Like, once you get started, it's really exciting in the beginning, and you have that excitement that's moving you forward, and then you'll hit we all do. We all hit these hurdles. We hit these, bumps in the road. Don't stop, because if you stop, you'll never know where you could have went. And if you keep going, you'll find great things.
So along with that, like and we all have sumps in our business, and we're going to talk about that in just a second, but not quitting I think everything in your mind tells you that maybe this was a bad choice. Maybe you shouldn't have joined, and you thought you were going to go really far and it didn't happen. The one thing that's so important, we all have to do monthly, weekly, daily, is remember why you joined. And a lot of you new consultants, if you just joined, you know why you joined. Maybe it was because you love the product so much that you needed them all. Maybe you just loved sharing a simple thing that you were using in your home. But don't forget why you joined, because it could be if the reason why you joined was just because you wanted to change homes. Don't forget that, because that will push you into asking people. That'll push you into how you present yourself and how you share the products, how you share the opportunity, and you'll see your business grow just by remembering why you joined. And maybe you joined for the discount, and maybe you just like that. But what if you turn that into, well, why do I like the discount? Well, you love the products. So what if you could share that with people that you come in contact that we won't be able to come in contact? So it's always really important to share your why, and do that all the time and never stop doing it.
And know that your why is going to change and evolve, because why I joined 6 years ago is completely different than my why now. And that's just a constantly evolving thing. So write it down, because in good times and in harder times, when you have hosts ghost you and you have parties cancel and you have teammates quit and you have things like that are rough patches in your business, you can look back and see, what was your focus? What started you going? What kept you going? What are you wanting now? And that why is going to grow with you in this business.
And that why is going to keep you going when personal life gets hard.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about, is that a question coming up, Sean?
Coming up, yeah.
Okay, I won't go there.
Next, Kelly, how did you know?
Okay.
We've all been out in the sun all day today.
And you guys make sure to ask questions in the chat, because
Yes.
we're looking at them too. So.
Yeah, please ask your questions, and there's no wrong question.
Mm-hmm.
So the next question is basically work-life balance. So what is the one thing, Caitlin, what is the one thing that has been most helpful to keep your work and home life balanced?
I would say setting your boundaries for turning off and unplugging when it's family time. So like for me, my kids are in school. So once they get home from school, I put my phone down. I'm not answering messages. Like that's really important. Turn it off, completely unplug. And that way you're not feeling so like responding to messages, cooking dinner, answering emails, trying to help the kid with homework, but just being able to like shut it down. Another girl that isn't here tonight also mentioned like turning off your notifications on your phone. So you're not constantly getting Facebook notifications and things like that from all your groups. So turning things off, and even like on our call that we did yesterday, one of the SVPs was saying like she turns off her phone between 4 and 7. And so she was like, and that's just what I have to do. And then at 7 o'clock, once my kids are settled and we're, it's winding down, she turns it back on and answers messages again. So just setting those boundaries.
And there's no Norwex emergency that can't wait.
Nobody's dying.
Nobody's dying.
Yeah.
And a normal business is like, it's not unreasonable to have a 24-hour next business day. So it's okay to set the expectation with team members and customers, like it's 9 p.m. It's not unreasonable to not respond until the next business day during business hours.
I think as a woman, and if you're a mom, I think it's natural for us to want to take care of everybody all the time when we have time, and I can do it. It's not a big deal, but in reality, it's okay, guys, for you to put your phone down when your kids get home from school and you need to cook dinner. Don't look at your phone while you're cooking dinner. You don't need to. You know, when I have 3 kids and when they're in bed, I can pop open my laptop for half an hour, go through my thing, and then I can spend the evening watching a movie with my husband, you know, and it's okay to do that. And I think a lot of us, we still have the urge of maybe I should check this, but at the end of the day, we're like, no, I don't. Because I think we think that people are waiting for us when really they're like, oh, don't worry, just give me a call tomorrow. So don't feel like you have to do everything.
And a lot of the times when you don't answer those questions immediately, it's better. It
Or they're like, never
trains-
mind.
Right, they find the answer on their own, and that's what you want ultimately anyway. Because you're not the end all be all answer to all that is Norwex. They can find, your teammate can find that answer another way and become more self-sufficient because of it. So waiting and pausing and giving that time for them to at least try to find the answer. And then that way, you know, if they can't, then you're there and you can answer them the next day during normal business hours. But it really encourages that self-sufficiency.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's a lot up to like, you're giving your best to each person in your life. So like, if I'm trying to cook dinner and I'm trying to respond to a text, I'm not giving my best to my customer. I'm also not giving my best to my family.
Right.
I'm not giving my best to anybody.
Yeah.
So if you time block and give your full attention to your family when it's family time, give your full attention to your business when it's business time, you know, time to work on your business, then yeah, you're not overwhelmed, but you're also giving your best self to each of those areas of your life.
Yeah, and on my,
This is a great
I do want to say one thing, because this is something I was taught that was really important, is Caitlin actually does this, is on your voicemail, saying what your office hours are. And I have a lot of customers say on my phone, I didn't realize your office hours were between 9 and 3, so just get back to me when you can. But also letting people like your host know beforehand and your team know beforehand that this is what my office hours are. And I struggle with this too, but it's something that I know is important. Exactly like what Lauren was saying, like giving your best to who you are with. And so making sure that you just tell them, hey, my office hours are between 9 and 3 or 4 and 7 or 7 and 9, whatever your offers
Or just 1 hour.
Or your
From
power
12
hour.
to 1.
Right.
At piano lessons.
Yeah.
you
Which
know.
is really a recruiting seed, like you work 1 hour a day, you know, so letting people know, your host and your new consultants, what your office hours are, so they expect you to reach out at that time.
And something I was gonna say is start right away, because that's something that I had to learn the hard way. I became overwhelmed because I was just doing all the things all the time, and I had to learn to put the phone down. I'm still learning. It's a hard thing to do, but like start right away so that you you get used to that right away when your things are smaller and it grows with you.
Yeah. And there is a team, I'm sorry, Sean, it was Sean who was able to interview Deanna Cantola for our VP Summit. And one of the quotes that Deanna shared was, boundaries aren't about saying no, it's about saying yes to what matters.
Yes.
And so knowing what matters, it's knowing what that pearl is that you're supporting with your pillow, knowing Jamie, who is not here right now, but Jamie White, I love, who is the lady that she said about the juggling? What's the singer's name? Do you all know?
Nora Jones.
So Lauren Jones?
Nora
Jones, sorry. But so Nora Jones said, sometimes you're juggling, but you know which balls are your glass balls that you can't drop, and you know which balls are the plastic ones that can drop and bounce back up, and you can get them at a different time. So know what matters most. Make sure you're putting those things into your calendar first each week. And then if you need to juggle around your business hours around that, it can be moved around.
That's very good.
Okay.
What'd you say?
Which balls are important?
We're not going there. We will after we're done. Okay, so.
Know your balls.
So the next question
don't touch.
All right, Dana, this is yours. I want to know, and just respond to the chat, how many of you want to go for team coordinator? That is just 3 people on your team that all engage in the same month. You get to promote your team to our first level leadership, which is team coordinator. So you can even raise your hand because we can see you. If you're a team coordinator or you are like, yes, I really want to get to, it's so good to see that. So you're probably thinking, well, how do you do this? How do you promote a team? So one of the questions was, how do you get your team excited for a team promotion? At whatever level, maybe you're at a team coordinator going for sales leader. So Dana's gonna answer that question.
So, sometimes when we go for a team promotion or you're going for a promotion, you may think it's all about you, that you're the one promoting, you're the one who's gonna benefit because yes, you're gonna either start to receive the team check or your team commission is going to go up, and you're gonna get the benefits of having that team. But what you have to do is flip your mindset around. It's not all about you. It never is all about you in this business. This is a team building business and you cannot do anything without your team if you're a leader in this business. So getting your team excited about it is kind of, putting the focus on other people. So when I'm going for a promotion, I tell my team, who's ready to promote? Think about it. Are you wanting to go up a step in leadership? Who can you promote on your team? Who are your rock stars? Who's showing consistency? Who's showing high sales? Who shows up for your team meetings all the time? Who can you identify on your team as having potential to build up into leadership? And so when you think about it that way, who can you pull up into leadership? Then it just gets you excited because all of a sudden it's not about you. You're thinking about others and you're helping pull them into leadership. And you don't know what people are going through in their life, where this team check can be the biggest blessing. I mean, they may be suffering from, something medically that they can't afford the medical bills for. Maybe, their husband lost their job because of COVID and they can't make their house payment. I mean, all of these things that you have no idea what people are struggling with, this could be the blessing that they need in their life. So by offering that and pulling people up into leadership is just kind. And it's a really awesome thing that we have the opportunity to share with other people. So if you're thinking about going for a promotion, I encourage you to think about the people on your team, who's showing that potential and who can you lift up into leadership. And by doing that, that lifts you as well. And it's a win-win because when you support others' success, then you're supported and you go up as well. It's a beautiful business, the way that this whole structure is designed.
Go, Leah.
I'm sorry. And also help support the people who are casual because like you were saying, it's about others. And your casual team has shopping circles and these people need to be asked, do you need anything? We have new products out. It's the spring, it's the fall, it's the summer, whatever it is. Winter, spring, and fall. But you want to make sure that you have the tools given to those casual consultants. Put together a text and just say, for them to copy and paste it to their shopping circle. Make sure they have a shopping circle, have a team makeup party, do something to grow your casuals shopping circle. That's their circle of influence. And I know for many of us, our main why is we've got really great products and they need to be in homes. And we need to make sure that our team members are reaching out to their shopping circles. So you're supporting your rock stars, you're pulling up your people and saying, hey guys, it's time to reach out to your shopping circles. Because sometimes life gets busy. They have laundry soap. They don't need any right now, but maybe their friend Carol does.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leah. Okay, so next question kind of goes along with what we're talking about. One of you asked, what has being a jacket leader meant to you and how has it motivated your team? And she would hit on a lot of that with, it's not about us, it's about our team, because we are a family, we are a huge family. So, and you could answer, or anyone could answer this really, what has being a jacket leader meant to us and how has it motivated our team?
Well, jacket leaders get information a lot more quickly than like I would have as an ESL. So it really helps our team because I'm able to offer that information. And it helps equip our team better in general for our businesses. So that, I mean, that's one of the biggest things that I've noticed.
And I think we also get, I mean, like what we're doing here, we get to spend 4 days together investing in how we want to best serve you. And what is Norwex doing? How can we get behind Norwex's mission? How can we improve ourselves as women, as leaders, and pour back into you? So we get to do that as our level. We get to participate in that. So when you go for those team promotions, it's not, oh, she gets a different color of a jacket. It's more of what more can our team do? And how best we can improve ourselves to help you, because this is what we do. We are almost full-time Norwex consultants. But that's another piece of that puzzle, I think.
And I think too, like with this VP Summit, you know, yesterday we had the virtual conference that we got to watch, but I think we all agreed that the biggest thing that we got out of the summit was the camaraderie, being together. I mean, watching corporate, you know, that was great, and talking to the senior vice presidents was really fun. We got a lot of interesting tidbits from that. But it's the relationships that you build and the conversations that you have with other senior level leaders. And the higher you get in this business, the more you're going to have the ability to surround yourself with positive, passionate, like-minded people who are in this business with you, who are walking the walk, talking the talk. And it just helps you to become a better version of yourself. And that trickles down into your team.
And I'm also going to throw in, you guys, there is, I mean, we all love our teams and there's personal growth in this, but there's also financial opportunity in this too. And I mean, I do this full time. This supports my business. And I know people don't like to talk about money, but I mean, it's the residual, right? The residual income that we get from this it's life changing. I mean, when I first started this business, we were laughing on the beach the other day because I was like, I just had a goal of making $200 a month to live paycheck to paycheck. We were in extreme debt when I started this business, and we were laughing. It's like, yeah, like people do things to live with a goal of living paycheck to paycheck, so they don't have to go. The average person files for bankruptcy only needed $400 extra a month. Wow. $400 extra a month. That's 2 parties. An average of 2 parties a month that could really be life-changing for someone. It was for me, and I was able to stay home. And now that income is way more than I could have ever thought it could be. My husband alone had $60,000 in debt when I started with Norwex. We have no debt right now. We just refinanced our house to a 15-year loan. That's the only debt that we have. And Caitlin and I always talk about, if this was it for me, if VP and where I am financially was it for me, I have more than enough money. We are pouring into savings and investments, and we have more than enough money. And so while this is,
But 6 years ago, it wasn't that.
6 years ago, it's not that.
Yeah.
So like, when can you go out and get a job somewhere where in 6 years I can grow to a place where I'm making more money than, I can't
The
remember.
average American household is $60,000 a year.
Right.
Is that
The
what you're
average,
saying?
well, no, I wasn't gonna say that, but that's a good point. But I think that, oh gosh, what is the numbers? It's like 84% of women who make over $100,000 a year do it through network marketing. So network marketing is the ones that are out there really paying women what we are worth. And this is not just for women. This business is not just for women. I've been on my team too that are successful and leaders in this business. But you guys, there is opportunity here, and it's not just for us. It is for you guys too. And we may be in a different place than you guys are right now, but guess what? We were where you are. We were where you are. And the only difference is that we've done more parties, we've received more no's, and we've gone through different seasons. And we'll get to that in a second. I could go on, but I'm so passionate about the financial opportunity because now my why is helping other people get out of debt.
Well, and I think just to I know nobody likes to talk money, but I think it's an important idea just to give you the financial, at this VP level, your commissionable downline check can range from anywhere from $4,000 to over $10,000. And that's just from your commission, that's just your team check. So think about it like that. I mean, you know, what corporate America business can you go from 0 to 6 figures in a matter of a few years? You know, and so when you really start to think about that, I mean, we've got this amazing opportunity to share with others. And what a great
You're close.
Yeah.
You're close.
Well, and it ranges, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's a
Yeah.
guarantee, but this is the level that you can start to receive that.
Absolutely. And I just want to pour a little bit more tea in the cup, because we're talking about things like what other business can you do this in? And women are making a lot of money in this business, but let's remember we're interdependent. Like the teams that we represent are hopefully also receiving successes. They're building shopping circles, they're growing monthly income, they're getting some needs met as well. And we are a company that is mainly women, but there are men, and so I don't want to overspeak here, but I just want to give a big hoorah to the women who are making more money than their husbands in this business, who are growing exponentially, them personally, because this is a whole self business. Not very many businesses make you wake up and deal with the things that are inside of you that need to be dealt with to succeed. And so you're growing yourself as a woman in this business, and you're helping others to grow. And so, you know, when I look at my team, I'm looking at people who have cheered me on, pushed me, held me up, lifted me when I was fallen, and I only want to do the same for you and for them. So that's what we're looking at, is women building women, and mamas and women in general just building amazing businesses.
But it could just start with that $200 extra that somebody needed to be able to stay home with their babies and live paycheck to paycheck so they can pay for the groceries.
Absolutely.
That's where it starts, you guys, in that first dream.
Are we talking about, okay, so I'm just gonna say this. I can't remember if we're gonna talk about this or not. So, this is a little bit about my story, and I feel like I don't know, it's just a testimony that this business can be for anyone. So I'm always a little embarrassed to say this, but I never graduated high school, and never ever in my life did I dream I could make the money that I make. And I don't make as much as some of the ladies here, but it makes a huge difference in my family. And when I started, I wanted enough to help. We were sending our kids to private school at the time. And so I wanted enough money just to pay that bill. And then it moved into, I had enough to pay that bill, and I was able to buy my boys Amish made like solid wood beds for their rooms and nightstands. And I was so proud of the fact that I was able to do that for my family. And now it has moved into my husband, we're on a farm and it's just not going great. And so he isn't taking a paycheck, and I am providing for our family. And that always, it makes me emotional. It's a big deal. Yeah.
So someone that doesn't have a degree or a college degree, or anybody can do this business, you guys, anybody. And look at like the reward it gives you.
Well, and the growth, like personally that I mean, I was the person that cowered in a corner, and I still do. I get nervous, but I didn't like speaking.
Not after this week. Thank you. But I think it's important we're all so different. We all have different stories, but those of us that are sitting here, we never quit. And I think the average direct seller quits within 6 months. You don't give it enough time to see where it can go and to push through the hard times, and to just trust the systems and to talk to enough humans to make it something, because we all started with 0 sales, 0 team members, 0 parties on our calendar. So you have to have those parties. Nobody walks away from a business that has parties on their calendar. So when Maria said it earlier, don't quit.
And don't walk away if you have customers who need their laundry detergent.
Yeah.
So it's not just parties on your calendar. Obviously, we want that for you. But if you're in a season where you can't chase the party, don't forget to serve the people that you've been blessed with to be their consultant. Always be their consultant. You're never going to have a bad product to share here. So you've got something always worthwhile.
Yeah.
on that note, so Leah is gonna talk about what you all probably wanna know is bookings. What happens when you don't have any bookings? And I'm sure none of us got to a point where we're looking at our calendar going, "Ah," like that. I don't think anyone. So what happens when you don't have enough bookings and you want more? You want that 8 like that other person, or you're just like, I'm pretty much starting over. So if you're starting over, it's okay, because we've done that many times. But Leah's gonna talk about what happened to her when she got into a slump. And I think she's gonna bring up some really good tips, so make sure you have your pen and paper, and then I'll give you a couple more.
Okay, so you're gonna do some booking talks as well. So I'm going to kind of go through the slump part first. So sometimes it's not the business that takes you into a slumpy part of your business. It's not always, just a natural decrease in parties. Sometimes it's life. Life gets heavy sometimes. There are things that your glass balls. I wish it wasn't the word balls, but it is. Your pearls, people. So your pearls sometimes need tendon, and not your balls. But so your pearls sometimes get heavy. If you laugh too loud, Natalie, we're all gonna go with you. So truly though, like life got so heavy for me a couple years ago. Like it broke me. And it broke me to the point that I didn't even know who that girl was in the mirror. I was 35, 40 pounds heavier and I'm thankful for the small decrease in weight, but I still got a long way to go. But sometimes stress and pain and trauma, they can just be so heavy. And so it's okay to step back and to hold on to the pearls that you need to hold on to and to take care of those pearls, but you still touch this business. Even in that trauma, sometimes Norwex was a respite. Sometimes it was just a place to go and take a deep, fresh breath of air, and it wasn't the family stuff or it wasn't the heavy stuff that was happening. It was just something that I could touch and keep a pulse on my business. And so never totally drop it. Know that it's something that, it's a pillow, it's worth fluffing to support those pearls. And I do just encourage you to not step away completely. It's okay to step back, but step in for 1 hour a day, or if you're a younger consultant, then maybe it's 15 minutes every other day, but make sure you do intentional things to touch your business. And as far as a booking seed, an incentive here is reach out to people in your contact list. Just recently, you guys, she's not joking when she says we have to start over. I'm at a start over spot. I feel like I'm constantly, like venturing events for my life. That was how I met new people. I obviously like to talk. And when they walk at the table, I got something to say. So that was my seed of new people to bring into my life.
I can't hear.
We did just
Oh. Sorry, guys. Keep going or not?
Well, I don't know. It's that like a bunch of people are saying they can't hear.
You guys hear us?
Is it because they can't hear or?
It wouldn't stay on.
Okay, well, okay.
What?
Sorry.
Never
Never mind.
I can hear it.
Keep going. Okay,
Okay.
sorry.
So venturing events were a lifeline, and since COVID happened, those seeds weren't planted in my garden for Norwex, and so I've had to dig in deeper differently.
Sorry.
I can do that. I've had to dig in deeper into the way I was going to reach new people. And so I looked at my Facebook friend list, and you might have a whole lot more Facebook friends than I do. Half of my Facebook friends feel like they're attached to Norwex somehow. So that zipped out a lot of people right there for me because I'm friends with all these ladies. And so I had to go through my friends list. It took me about 3 days to just sit down, and I created an invitation to invite them to a party. I didn't ask them to host. I wanted just to have them come to a party. So host your own party. I know you hear that. I've heard that. I have a jacket leader, Trina Elslager, that hosts a party every year for herself. And I just love it. She has it in her home and it's beautiful. And I keep saying, Trina, one day I'm going to do that. One day I'm going to do that. Well, I did it virtually this time. I went through that's your Frankie list. Your living, breathing Frankie list. Get on your Facebook, go through every single person, open it up, be authentic. How do you know them? Did you forget who they were? Are they connected to one of your ESLs or a leader on your team? Well, don't message them, don't overstep. But if you know, okay, I know this gal from high school and I haven't talked to her in a while. And so reach out and invite her to a party. And then when you get those people that join that party or that group that you've created, or maybe you're doing an outside tailgating party, a party at the car, But whatever it is, when those people come, those are your elites right now, your elite Frankie list. And so then I want you to reach back out to them and send them samples or send them a special invitation, or make sure that you give some great booking gifts for that party that you're inviting them to. But definitely host your own party and invite your friends and your family to come and check out what you're doing.
The other two tips that I want to add to that is someone going along with either having nothing on your calendar to trying to get something on your calendar, your own lunch party for sure. But if you do have parties, some of you had asked, what do we do to get parties during our parties? And I personally, I can share with what I do, but my hosts are key. And I make sure that they know that star number 4 is not coming unless they have one friend that wants to host. Now with me, I don't say booking. I don't say book a party. I just don't. I say we have to have one friend that wants to host. And so she kind of gets into that mindset of, okay, who do I know? Thank you.
Sorry, they're just,
Here,
some are saying that they can't hear, so I'm thinking that maybe.
Here, let's put-
I know, I just would hate.
Can you guys hear us now? Oh, I can see you so much better. There you are. Look at your beautiful. You're all in your beds. That's great. Okay.
So maybe we could just
So,
like pass it whenever.
Wait, you know what I could do is I can sit down
Yeah.
and you can just all listen to me right here, right here. Lady from Ohio. Is anyone from Ohio? Just give me a shout out. All right. Thank you. Well, we're good. We're all good. Okay. Well, I see Maria, Leah, and Natalie. She had a lot to drink. No, I'm just playing. We're totally, no, that was a joke. I can say that. I can say that because Natalie's my friend. Okay, we got everyone. Oh, Maria. Okay, so.
Caitlin, come sit.
Oh, Caitlin.
Come sit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Caitlin.
sit over here.
I hit the ottomans. Okay. So you guys have asked about what we do during our parties to get parties.
It's really close.
Caitlin and I have the same shirt on. No, get this, guys. Get this. Watch this. This has nothing to do with bookings. See? We're that much alike. That was not planned at all. But the one thing that I do is definitely tell my hosts, and I do call my hosts. If you can't call your hosts, just record a short little 3-minute video and send it to on Facebook Messenger and just say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Now remember, this is what you're earning, and to show them all 4 ways of earning products. Now remember that we want to get all those goodies for you, but you need at least one friend to host a party. So send your hosts actual things to watch out for. So one thing that I send her in a text message and verbally is watch out for signs. So a lot of you probably go live during your parties, but the one thing I do is say, watch for the signs of those friends that will say, oh my gosh, I want it all, or I can't believe that's awesome, or I hate you, Caitlin, for inviting me. I want everything. Take my wallet. Those are red flags that person really needs to host. And your host needs to see those red flags. And once he or she does, then they can say, hey, you should host like I did. Sean's an awesome consultant. It's so simple. And bookings come a little faster. The other thing that I learned from Belinda Ellsworth, so she is like a direct marketing guru, is that, sorry, there's Kelly. I will sit back in just a minute. My head's the biggest right now. But the one thing that I remember her saying is the number one reason why people don't book a party with us is because we didn't ask them at all. So you're going to have a lot of people that you're going to see commenting in your posts. You're going to have your hosts. Don't forget your host can actually be a second booking, especially because we have that EnviroCloth and the dusting mitt as a second booking. You can say, listen, if you book a party 3 to 6 months from now, hello, you unlock those rewards and they get all that. But it kind of encourages them to find that friend that they can say, hey, you should do this. And it's super easy. But sometimes we just need to ask. So if you have a customer order, let's just say they order a basic package and you send them a text message or whatever you do and say, thank you so much for your order. Maybe you give away something for free. Ask them, hey, how did you like our party? oh, it was fun. Oh my gosh, it would be so fun to host with you next month. And what's the number one reason why people want to book with us?
Because it's fun.
Yes, Kelly, ding, ding, ding. What's the second, guys? It was fun.
They want to help their friend.
Whoa.
I
Ding, ding, ding,
listened to
ding.
Belinda.
So help their friend.
Then the third thing's free product, right?
Yes, they get free product. That's the last thing, guys. So don't start with that. The number one reason, I think it's either the two, is because they want to help their friend because they love them and that they had fun with you. So
Make it
just,
fun.
yeah, make it fun. So that is like one of the best tips that works for me. Anybody else?
I just have to say, when it comes to digital parties, or even if you're doing a Zoom or in person, you cannot rely on the post to do your job. So when you post, look at the host rewards, look at all the stuff, who wants to host a party, and people don't organically comment. And then you say, well, if I got a party with no bookings, you were not doing your job. That post is a tool. Your job is, like what Sean was saying, was to ask everyone. And with that, if you do get one person that says, I'll book a party, and that was your only organic booking, you still have to ask, because every time I go through and follow up with every single guest, there's oftentimes one or two more bookings out there, but the Facebook algorithms maybe didn't show them the post, maybe they scrolled by it and didn't think to comment, or they forgot about it. So you just have to ask. The posts, I put a post in my VIP group and nobody wanted to book a party. Well, that's not enough. It's not, you cannot rely on a post to do your job for you.
It's personal checkout virtually.
Yeah.
And you can't rely on your host either, because your host has a different relationship
Yeah.
with her friends. And so she may feel intimidated to ask her friend for help. And so by you reaching out to the customers individually, I always like to thank people for joining my party. You know, and if I'm closing the party out in a couple days, I give them their host's link and say, you know, here's Sally's link if you would like to place an order, or better yet, host a party with me. She'll earn all of her host rewards and you'll get a ton of free stuff. So sometimes that personal, you know, message to them from you goes a long way, because either the host maybe didn't even reach out to them, or, you know,
They were thinking about it, and that got them off the fence.
Right.
Just you asked them, I was like, oh, okay, sure, fine.
Yeah.
So.
And last thing, Sean, can I say one thing
Of
about that?
course.
Because I was very, like, I feel like sometimes God puts us in different situations in our business to be able to help those when they're in that situation. And so I empathize with team members who say, oh my gosh, I don't have any bookings on my calendar, because I've been there. When I had my daughter, I took like a full 8 weeks off. And coming from corporate America, you know, like, that's okay to take 8 weeks off, because your job is going to be there and you can file a lawsuit if it's not. But in direct sales, if you're not actively touching your business, which I wasn't, I kind of just went in mommy mode. I had a lot of parties just cancel. And so I think I had like 8 parties that just kind of like fizzled, because I really wasn't like keeping up with the hosts, whatever. And I remember when my last host was about to cancel on me. Well, she did cancel, and I called her back and I was like begging her. I remember to this day, like I'll still joke around with her, because she's like a distant friend of mine. And I'm like, Lillian, you saved my business, because I basically like almost cried on the phone to her. And I was like, please, will you do this party? Because I don't have any parties right now. And so she did it to help me. And I hostess coached her, and she had 10 people at that party. And then that one party catapulted my business back into, and I was just very intentional with never letting that happen again. So when there's a will, there's a way. And if your calendar dries up, don't quit, because if you still have the desire to make it happen, there are so many ways to get bookings on your calendar.
We're going to move to the last segment, and that's team building, because you're here as team members of, we have 9 teams on the Zoom. So thank you guys for staying with us. I feel like a newscaster. A little bit.
See, I'm rubbing off on you.
She used to be a newscaster, guys.
Wait, hold on, we have a question. Can I answer a question real quick?
There
Okay.
were a couple, Dana, if you want to scroll up.
Melissa said that I feel like a lot of my messages to people in my parties, they don't get them because they don't see them. So that's why it's kind of important during your party to be messaging people throughout the party. I try to always message. You can message somebody at the beginning of your party because once they've accepted the invite and they're in your party, you can reach out to them on day one and just say, hey, Sally, just wanted to say thank you so much for accepting this invitation. I'm looking so forward to showing you all the great things Norwex can do. And then like throughout the party, like I offer samples and things like that. So there's other ways to message them. So they could be trying to reach out to you. And then if they see that you've messaged them in Messenger, then that relationship, can build. So always try to build that relationship throughout your party. Do you guys have any other? Yeah, go ahead.
Something that I do at the very beginning is to, I haven't shaved.
I was gonna cut your head.
Something I do at the very beginning of the party as my host is inviting, as they're
They can touch
inviting
Messenger
their, lies. I've not had one sip of alcohol today. What was I saying? Oh, at the beginning of my party, I have a post and I say something like, message me here. And I actually have my direct link to my messenger. Message me here, your cleaning challenge, and you're going to go into the drawing for a free cloth. And so people do that and it automatically opens up that communication right away from the beginning. And so they'll message me a cleaning challenge. And then I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Are you new to Norwex? And then it gives me that opportunity to start building that relationship, connecting with them. And so 3 or 4 days after the party's over, I have that line of communication. I can follow up with them again and say, what do you think of these products? And of course we make it more natural based on the conversations, but just simply having them message you with the link. By the way, all you have to do is YouTube. How do I get my link on to Messenger? It's really simple. And they'll click it and they'll message you. So that's a great way to do it.
Yep.
Incentivize what you want them to do. So even if you did send them the first message and then you say, make sure to respond with a big thumbs up. So that will be your entry into the first giveaway. Or instead of doing the post that says, a lot of us, you have used the 1, 2, 3, or 4. Are you a Norwex newbie? Or do you have some product but don't know what to do with it? So you could tell them to message you where they're at, if they're a Norwex newbie or not.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
So incentivize what you want. And obviously in this digital party era that we're in, you want to build authentic relationships. So for me, like I've been incentivizing even my VIP group. It's not if you spend $100 or if you shop by midnight or whatever the incentive is, you get a travel cloth. It's if you shop by this time and you join my VIP page, then you get a travel cloth. So incentivize what you want. And if it's a relationship, when that came to my brain, it was late at night and I'm like, oh, that was me.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get an idea.
Yeah.
And that's why we need you all too. We need you to share your ideas
Yes.
because we learn from each other. We're interdependent.
I'm
upon
totally
each
gonna
other.
do that now.
Yeah, you are.
When you join my
Yeah,
VIP,
don't give
then
that
you get
travel
the
talk to
Yeah.
anybody who's not in your VIP.
Absolutely.
Unless they're not on Facebook. Don't be mean to the people who aren't on Facebook. Just make them spend $150.
Well, we had someone else say, they asked a question, how do we stay consistent in our team building? So I think Katie's gonna take that.
So obviously partying is huge. If you are consistent with holding parties, and like Leah had mentioned, that if you're starting from ground zero, you start with your list, right? Your Frankie list, your friends list on Facebook, whatever it might be. Make an actual list. I know we talk about it a lot, but sometimes we kind of just have in our head like, okay, well, I feel like I've already talked to everybody about Norwex, when in reality, if you were to write down and number the amount of people that you've talked to, it's probably a lot smaller number than you think. And so make an actual physical list. It could be on pen and paper, it could be on your phone, whatever the case might be, but make your list. And that is, I forget who said it. Somebody said a living, maybe it was you, a living, breathing document. You're always adding to it. You're always meeting new people. And so keep adding to your list. And then maintaining your party calendar, because once you have those parties and once you have that momentum going, then you're naturally gonna be getting those recruits and those bookings and all of the things that come from the business. But you do have to be intentional, just like with the bookings. If you're not asking people to host with you, then, and if you're not asking people to consider the business opportunity with Norwex, then you're probably not going to get very many people who want to join with you. Whereas if you're intentional and you are reaching out and you are saying, and it can be something as simple as, hey, I really appreciate how much you're commenting in the party. Like, I love your energy. Like, have you ever thought about doing this? You would be so good at it. Or, you know, whatever the scenario might be, if you are just personally reaching out and individually asking those people, like, have you ever thought about doing this? Do you want more information? I promise I won't stalk you. I can send you some information. Look it over. Let me know what you think. Yeah.
No, that basically
One-
was our other question. So
Well, and one
And you
more
had that
tip
one.
I would have along with that is then when you send them that information, follow up like within 12 to 24 hours, because that has worked for me a lot in the past. Like, it's just really important. If you don't, I have recruits that have told me, they're like, if you would have never followed up with me, I probably would have never joined. So it's that follow up and just checking in. Do you have any questions? And it may take several follow-ups, but it does happen. It does help. It's not always a yes, but it does help.
Yeah.
And I will say, if they say no the first time, don't be scared to ask again. If they say no the second time, don't be scared to ask again.
their
They
life
say no the
situation will
third time.
change.
Like, for real, y'all. It took me 7 times.
Oh, no, I said
of
we're
really
not stalking people.
do it in a
Don't hound them.
way. It took me 7 times. Christy Fields will tell you, it took 7 times for her to say yes. And I mean, I'm not saying, girl, you need to come to my opportunity event. You need to be here. You need to be there. You need to do this. I'm saying, sister, your back's hurting. You're cleaning houses. And I'm telling you, come check out my rags. And so you have something, you have a gift, and it might not be received. It might not be their birthday yet. You might need to wait another 6 months for their party, but just don't give up on them, because you still might have a gift for them in a season that's right. And I love how Christy, I'm going to give her a shout out. She says 2 cloths have helped me to fall in love with a whole lot of people.
Yes,
And so
I
you
love
guys
that.
don't take the gift away by giving up too soon.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean you have to be pitchy or in their face or stalking them, although you want to be more intentional with the people you have your eyes on. We tell you guys, when you're a brand new consultant, build your dream team of 3. Find 3 people that you're like, gosh, I want them by my side. I know they're gritty. I know they're fun. I know that they could do this. And so don't give up on those people. Just, you know, gently share the opportunity. If you see an opportunity come through where there's a free item that they wanted added to the kit or whatever it is. But sometimes you have to help cast a vision before they're ready to see it for themselves.
Okay, we're going to quickly go over the questions that you guys have been asking. So number 1, should I offer to give the prizes to my own hosts in a group party instead of all the consultant running it to the shoulder? All of it. I don't know what that means. Should I offer to give the prizes to my own host in a group party instead of the consultant running it to shoulder all of it? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes, that's your income. You need to.
If it's your people, yeah. If it's your
Okay.
In a private way. You don't go on to, if your team's having a mega party, you don't go and sprinkle on, and if you book with me, you're gonna get a month. So you do that in a private message.
Yeah.
Okay. Any suggestions on the best way to grow your business while working a full-time job and have family time
Well,
as well?
She hit on that.
I don't have a full-time job though.
Well, no.
Did
time
anyone have a
blocking
full-time
and-
job
Yeah.
starting this? Didn't you, Damien?
Yeah, time.
I will say, I'll answer this one because I have a teammate that actually, she runs a full-time business and does Norwex too, and she is almost an ESL. And so for her, she really, I think that as you grow, if you guys are here, you have support, right? So all of these women here are here to support you. So what I tell Amy all the time is, you have my support, you have my team page. We've made it super easy to onboard, and I'm here to help you coach your people through this. So continue bringing them on. And she does a power hour every day, and then I help her with the rest of it. So you guys, the biggest thing is you have awesome leaders that are going to support you. And so if you're working a full-time job, know that you have your backbone right here. So that would be the advice I would give there. Let's see. Yes, we are looking forward to the time where we can all meet together as well. It's great to hear about financial. I have to hop on. Let's see. I think that we might have answered the rest of the questions.
There was one on Zoom. Do you have 1 or 2 parties a month and just have more than one host? Kitty, yeah, all of us do the multi-host parties. So
Really?
I don't do the multi-host.
yes,
I do not.
Caitlin is going back to multi-host. That is her takeaway from this weekend.
I do Zoom
They're
parties.
pressuring me.
I do Zoom parties.
Listen, I do messenger parties, so we're always sprinkling other things in, but multi-host is my bread and butter.
And that's a great, just a realization that you can have 5 parties or 10 parties or whatever you want and work one night, like work one live demo or however you do your party. It can be, it can be wrapped around and fit into the cracks of your life. That's the blessing of this business. It can fit into the nooks and the crannies.
Okay, last question. How do you recruit hosts or guests that you do not know? I feel like I need to know them.
That was her question.
No, it's easier to not know them.
Right, I agree with that.
Maria.
Yeah, Maria.
So Maria has a great, very can you tell if you're still on? Can you tell everyone who makes up the majority of your team?
Oh, yeah, the majority of your team.
What was that? Sorry.
Can you tell everyone who makes up the majority of your team?
So the majority of my team is our Amish women. I live in a big Amish community. But I forget what the question was. I'm so sorry.
We don't know the person.
Oh, yeah. And the majority of my people that are on my team would be people that I don't know. Everybody that I sign up, I have nobody on my team. I'm trying to think if there's anybody on my team that I would have had a relationship prior to Norwex, and I don't think there is. And so the key is just to ask them. And you always, as you meet people, you see something in them that different people, you see things in them that you're like, wow, you would be really good at this. Have you ever thought about doing what I do? And it is, it's just asking everybody.
You have to learn to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what it comes down to. And like sprinkle seeds throughout your party, multiple. They have to hear it multiple times. And then you need to follow up with them too. And like, you also want to be complimenting something you notice in them, giving them confidence that yes, they can do it. Like, I noticed that you're super fun, and I would like, that would serve you so well in this business. Have you thought about it? Like you need to tell them and then listen. Yes. And tell them why you think they'd be good at it. And you don't have to know them to do that. You just have to interact with them a bit.
And I think if you know somebody, and I'm not saying that you can't recruit somebody that you know, but you don't prejudge, because if you know somebody already, you may have misconceptions. You may say, oh, she's so busy, she would not be able to do this. Or, she has 2 master's degrees from Yale. I mean, like, you can have all of these like preconceived notions as to why she will say no. Whereas you can look at it so much more objectively, when you don't know somebody, because you're just offering it. And the common objections. And if you don't know the common objections, you can definitely look in the back office. Nora has a whole sheet on how to address the most common objections. And once you kind of have that, like a rebuttal for, those like top 10 objections, then you can pretty much handle any kind of situation.
And I want to say something and piggyback off of what Maria said earlier about just following up with the people that you maybe give information to. Funny story. Caitlin, I wasn't planning on sharing this, but I had invited, Caitlin and I knew each
We need to
other
talk
from,
about this.
from college, and I had invited her to my launch party. And she wasn't able to make it. And then a few months later, ran into her at a corporate meeting. She had already signed up as a consultant with someone else. And
Katie is still a little upset.
I'm a
about
little
the money.
salty about
She's-
it. No, but the whole point is that had I followed up with her, maybe she would have been on my team. Maybe she would have signed up with me and we would have been working together. If you're not asking the people who are really interested in this business opportunity, somebody else will ask them. And so, I don't know, just keep that in mind that you also want to not miss out on those opportunities.
And you don't know if they're interested if you don't ask. So you need to be asking
It's an
everyone.
automatic no.
Everyone. You don't get to make that decision for somebody else's life. You need to ask.
And definitely don't prejudge. Like when you were talking about someone having a double master's or whatever, I had a lawyer scientist on my team. And I didn't think that she would ever want to be a consultant peddling rags with me. But you never know where someone's at. For her, she's like, people need to know why they don't need soap, because soap is, you know, what breaks the oil barrier on your skin, and your body cloth does the same thing. And so she knew things that I just would have never known on my own without being taught through her amazingness. So you don't want to prejudge, and you definitely don't want to just assume that you need a team full of just people that would be your friends, because you need a team full of people that will grow you. This is an interdependent, once again, a growth, whole self-growth business. And just like you hear us many times, we're saying, and the women, oh, the men, you know, we know we have guys now on our teams. We have people that are different that we might not have been sitting at the dinner table with naturally, but we're so glad, like Christy said, those two cloths, they're going to help you to fall in love with a whole lot of people. And they're not all going to have been the people you might have picked as a friend. It's going to be someone that's going to grow you in a really awesome new way.
Right. You good?
I think so.
Thanks, guys, for joining us this spontaneous
What a fun
last
time. Oh,
minute.
show them our house. You guys,
Oh.
your house. I'm not even sitting here. Look
This-
at this.
This is our house.
4 stories.
It's 4 stories, so our calf muscles are killing. Yeah, but look, you can't even see the ocean out there, and it's just beautiful, guys. But we were talking earlier about, and those of you to go to bed, just go to bed. But we were talking earlier about what if we weren't like just how we're able to afford this and like say, you know what, I'm gonna go to Florida and be with my friends. Like I would have never. Yeah. So like my husband lost his job and I wasn't working, and Norwick's literally paid our bills for 2 solid years. So it's possible, but back 6 years ago, I would have never, ever, ever been able to afford a plane ticket and going out to eat like 3 times. And I even bought my kids presents. And so it's like, and the shirt, I bought this shirt today for $23. And I was not able to do that 6 years ago. So,
Oh, yes, and go
and
back.
this off Amazon.
I'm so sorry, but like go back to that, you guys. It's not about it's not about thousands of dollars in the bank account.
Right.
Like seriously, you all. I mean, our family we still got the WIC. Like we were right there above poverty level, and I think other people might have gotten the WIC too. But the point is, you got to remember what it was like when you called your husband, or maybe you didn't, but I did because I was a performing arts student, so I didn't know how to do math. So I would call Mark on the way home and I would say, okay, the party was $743. And yes, y'all, I would have made sure they got to the 750 level. But on the way home, I just needed to know what 35% of that was so I could go to the grocery store. It mattered. That's how much it mattered in my life at that moment. My husband was losing 20% of our income in a federal sequestration. It was back in 2013 when the government said 20% of your money is getting cut. And we needed that money. And that was such a blessing. So it's not just about the thousands of dollars in the beach house. Like, I mean, we are so blown away by this blessing. But don't ever forget what it was to you or what it is to you now, because that's what makes it so beautiful for us to share this gift with others.
Yes, for sure. And we love you all.
And we want you at
We
the
love you
Speakeasy
all.
Summit next year.
Yay! Good night, guys. See ya.